It's 36 minutes after 6. You're watching the AM show. This is a conversation that we'll have later on industries, all because the Multimedia Group this month of March in this year, we're celebrating Ghana Month. I mean, it's Ghana Month. The conversation is everything Ghanaian. We've got a question for you that we'll put on the screen. You can answer it by sending me a message on WhatsApp on 0560 800,000. But right now, though, a certain gentleman is confusing me. I can't even get my sentences straight. Kwabena Chen Chen Heneboating is on my show today. Good morning.
So much. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good to be on the show once more.
Yeah, but you're not married, so I thought, okay, why don't I find somebody suitable for you? So you join me for the headlines for a while.
Fine. That's fine.
And then hopefully by the end of this segment...
I could be married, eh?
Yes.
Okay. Ghana Month. Yes. 59th independence. I'm enjoying my independence anyway, but...
it will be very significant.
True.
Yeah.
True.
We can do the wedding like 6th of March, 2017.
Oh, as in next year?
Yeah.
Oh.
We'll give you a good time to court.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll plan.
A year? Anyway, I'm just here to do the newspapers. But I'm really looking forward to that discussion. I mean, the one, Roland's discussion with Alan Martin and the other gentleman. Really, I'm really looking forward to it.
You know, you have disclosed a little bit. I have said nothing. Because we'll be linking up with Roland pretty soon. No, don't apologize. Roland will tell us where he is and what he's up to. But let's review the newspapers now.
Right.
I've got the Ghanian Times newspaper, front page of the paper. Cabinet approves research fund bill. Comes with a picture of Professor Opoko Ajimai, Minister of Education. Uhuru Kenyatta apparently is our special guests for Independence Parade. EC given go-ahead as Supreme Court throws out suit. AG NMC order to file statements and woman grabbed for baby theft. These are the headlines you would find in the Ghanian Times newspaper, at least on the front page. Back page, policy to regulate small-scale mining out soon. And waves drag ship ashore at Aflao. Let me read a bit of the stories for you. I will start with Cabinet approving the research fund. That story on page 12, 13. In the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Okay, where can I find you? I'm looking for page 12. Hey. Okay.
Maybe so while you look for it, let me bring you these stories on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. And there's a picture of Roads and Highways Minister Honorable Inusaf Hussein, who's a regular on the AM show, by the way. And the story here says, Minister misleads Mahama. I don't know. And well, that's according to the angry Hohoi residents. That's what the story is reporting. There's also a story on the front page, lawyer's life in danger over Zeneto's case. And there's also a piece here, Gary Nimaku saying, Ghana needs credible register. That's according to the Supreme Court. But there's this very interesting story I saw let me see, let me try and get this story. It has to do with Martin Amidu commenting on this
the spy bill.
This spy bill.
Yeah.
Okay, it says Amidu opposes phone tapping law. Is on the page 6 of the Daily Guide newspaper, and just an introduction to the story. It says former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Martin Ebike Amidu has waded into the controversial phone tapping bill currently before Parliament and called on the leadership of the House not to pass it into law in its current form. But what are your thoughts on that bill anyway, really?
I think I'll go with what another lawyer, Samson Ayenini, has been advocating for as well. Let's pass the Right to Information Bill. That is more urgent. This is not urgent. We need time to talk on this issue. Seriously. I don't want anybody spying on me when I'm talking. I see a lot of things on the phone.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, so can I read my story on the research fund bill? Okay, so it says that Cabinet has approved the research fund bill and will submit it to Parliament for consideration. The bill is expected to provide the legislative framework for the establishment of a research fund to support the academia and research institutions conducting research relevant to socio-economic development. All right, there's more on this particular story in the paper. There was another story of interest that's on page 3, still in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It says that the Supreme Court has ordered the Attorney General the National Media Commission to within 14 days file their statement of case in the matter, requiring media owners to seek content approval from the commission before publication. The AG had gone to court with a motion on notice praying for extension to file their statement of case. Mrs. Grace Ewu, a principal state attorney, said the state had filed its affidavit in respect of the matter on February 24 this year. Mr. Thios Sori, who represented the NMC, prayed the court to give the commission some days to file their statement of case. Mr. Kweko Uswajimai, representing Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, did not object to the submissions of the AG and the NMC. Geba had gone to court to strike out a new law which required media owners to seek content approval from the NMC before publication. As for this story, it's one of our own. We'll be following through for you. So that's it for the Ghanian Times. Okay,
so I guess there are a few more stories I would love for us to look at in the Daily Guide newspaper, but maybe that will be for a later time. But now to the Daily Dispatch newspaper, and the front page story says, Andrew Awuni doubts Nane's chances. And you know Andrew Awuni, former spokesperson of the former president, John Ejekun Kufuor, says it will be a miracle for NPP to win. And that's the story there. And for, you can see miracle is in red ink.
The clotte?
No, for
the general elections?
Kufuor to win. Yes, exactly. There's also a story on the first.
Wait, hang on. Is he's anti-Nana or what?
He's a member of the NPP.
He's a member of the NPP,
yes,
but he says that it would be a miracle.
Yes, for the NPP to win.
Okay,
well,
perhaps
is that hard to understand?
Perhaps the details of the story in detail would give us a better.
Let me give you a bit of that story, really, because you're calling for it. Okay. So he says, a former spokesperson for a former president, John Ejekun Kufuor, Andrew Awuni, says it will be, quote, a big struggle, end quote, for the NPP to win power in the upcoming November polls. And let me quote him again. He says, it's not that the people don't want change, but they are not sure of an NPP government vis-a-vis its current state. Awuni asserted in an interview on one of the radio stations here in Accra. Now, he says, since the suspension of Paula Foko, several elements within the party have expressed deep concerns on the development and somewhat confirming the supposed divisions in the party. He says, commenting on the events in the largest opposition NPP, Awuni contends unless a miracle happens, many of the things the NPP is doing now will reduce its votes drastically come the general elections. And well,
this is big.
Indeed. And this Andrew Awuni saying this anyway. I don't know, but
I think there will be talks again today about divisions in the party and the fact that some people are anti-Nana.
Is it that there are no divisions in the party?
You know, I'm saying that the talks would come up again with these comments.
True. Okay. Let's talk of talks and divisions in the party. And on the back page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, 2016 parliamentary elections, Ninoy Norte to contest as an independent candidate.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So I was reading a bit of that story yesterday, and Ninoy, well, the quote suggests that Ninoy says, unless there's another rerun, then of course there'll be no peace in the NPP, particularly in the Klote Kole constituency. And on the international front, there's another story, not really on the international front. It says Turkish First Lady commends Lordina Mahama. Lordina Mahama seems to be in the news a lot lately.
You know, when the Turkish Prime Minister came to Ghana, she was moving with his wife when the president was moving with the Prime Minister. So they did a few things together, some donations.
So some donations,
here and there.
okay. So I'm seeing a picture of some donations and okay. Well, that's good. Some publicity. Yeah.
Well, we have the feed, and we'll go there in a bit. I don't want to still disclose. Let me do the Weekend Find, the newspaper. Front page. Christians in idol worship. It's a very big question. This subject came up. It didn't surprisingly make news in Ghana, but the Finder is picking it up now, making it a front page story. You know, the man whose picture usually we refer to as Jesus. He's actually an actor, and his name is Robert Powell. He wants Christians to stop worshiping his image, and the camera will pick this because I want you to understand this picture because you see this picture a lot.
Yeah.
He acted in the Jesus movie, so this was him in the movie as Jesus, and some persons have printed this picture and they put it in all sorts of places. And then they worship it. But let me share details of what he's saying.
So we don't need to use this picture.
No, and
it's just a symbolic thing.
Exactly.
Or maybe we can use Obini. Anyway, just by the way.
So the story says that his portrait hangs in the most sacred places in the church. Many Christians even pray to it, believing him to be the Son of God, Jesus. Others have him on calendars in their rooms and as stickers on their cars and doors. What many Christians risk is becoming idolaters, all because the man whose photograph has widely been circulated as a picture of Jesus is only an actor who played the role of Jesus in the movie. The import of the story, and you can read it. It will be interesting to read. Robert Powell is simply saying that, listen, I'm an actor, stop worshiping me. I am not the true Jesus. And I say, I remember, was it 3, 4, 5 years ago, Otabel said, I mean, he's going to have a portrait, something, Jesus can be a black person.
Yeah.
So I remember the picture that we had in the background in the church. I can't remember how many years ago, was not a white Jesus, but it was a black Jesus.
Yeah. So I'm sure for many members of, say, the international God's Way Church or so, they wouldn't mind having Obinim on the wall. Every now and then they can go there and
why
say...
Why not you? Why not Kabina?
I'm not a church member. Okay, as in my picture here.
You're not a church member of what?
Of the...
We can have you as, you can be our Jesus.
Oh, yeah, I can be your Jesus. Okay. I don't know how that will pan out anyway, but yeah. Okay, I have the Daily Graphic here, and there's a front page story, which I think is pretty worrying. It says, trainee nurses pay bribes to get feeding allowance arrears. And for me, this is, I don't know, really, in a country like
they pay bribes to get the allowances.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so, I don't know. I don't really want to say too much about it. I might end up saying things I don't really have to say, because in a country where nothing seems to work sometimes, trainee nurses, yes, they are trainee nurses. Yeah, they're training to become nurses to help the health sector. We all know the situation in the country.
There are a lot of people who will not be surprised by the headline.
I know, and this is happening, and it looks like we've all turned a blind eye to it anyway, but for me, it's a very sad situation. But there's also a story here about some justice issues, and you can see the Chief Justice, Mrs. Justice Theodora Georgina Wood here in the story. Says Supreme Court clears way for Ebuako by-election and limited registration. That's that particular story there. We have details there on page 16 of the Daily Graphic newspaper. And maybe let me go back here to the back page stories. And Roads Minister inspects ongoing projects in Volta region. And this is a story we've been carrying on this network since yesterday. I'm sure you're well aware of that. Quite a number of other stories in the Daily Graphic. There's actually a feature at on page... Okay, I can't even find the page number, but okay, it's Ghana at 59. It's a feature in there by Benjamin Glover. It says, a look at Tema Township. Okay, so they are focusing on Tema. And there's a lot more things in the Daily Graphic that seems to suggest that, well, we are 59 years as a country. I don't know how much we've achieved as a country anyway, aside for Doomsaw and a few others. But yeah, 59 years. Should we be happy?
Yeah, we should be. We should be. We've come a very long way. And I think the conversation that Roland would have today would also give us a lot of insight as to where we've come from, most importantly, where we are and how we can move on.
Some way, somehow, it seems we make some steps forward and then we make a lot more steps backwards, and then we try, we come forward a bit, and then we go back, and then we come. I don't know, it's like stagnation.
Well, you know what they would say, sometimes perhaps because of where we sit, that's what we think.
Really?
So it might not be exactly...
Where do we sit?
Well, I don't know. Maybe some figures...
Over the past few months, I've been traveling a lot doing some work, and the income inequality gap, the reflection on the ground is terrible. Yeah. It's terrible, really. Well, I don't know.
At this point, I think it will be appropriate to say hello to Roland. Let's find out where he is right now and what he's doing. So Roland Walker, okay, I'll come to you in a bit. Let me do the Business and Financial Times. Front page of the paper.
Roland is really keeping us in suspense.
I miss him, that's why.
I know. Anyway.
Front page of the Business and Financial Times. New national airline imminent. That's according to President John Mahama. Yeah, we're working.
So there was Ghana Airways, there was Ghana International Airlines, and we are now looking forward to another one. Yeah. Yes, we heard Jiffa Ativo mention some time ago. We were proud to her resignation anyway, that we were considering such a thing. And I heard a lot of things that, well, didn't look like we were ready for another international airline, really.
I think we should leave it. If you ask me, it should just be the private people running it.
Exactly.
It would be more profitable that way, because I don't see the gains that we make when we have national airlines. But maybe this will make us happy. You know, when the Turkish Prime Minister was in Ghana, they broke grounds for the official commencement of a new terminal at the Kotoka International Airport. So I think some work's underway. Okay, so the paper is very heavy today. It's loaded.
I know, but speaking of the airport, in Kotoka International Airport, really, what has become of the Pram Airport also, the Ningo Pram Airport? I thought the focus was rather shifting from trying to overstretch Kotoka International Airport and then build an ultra-modern facility at Pram, a much bigger space anyway.
I don't know, man.
You know?
I don't know. These are all the questions. I think it's an appropriate question to ask in this month of Ghana. So we'll ask all those detailed questions for you. It's a wrap on the headlines, or with the headlines. I think most of the papers are carrying Independence Day pictures and things. The Business and Financial Times has also got a few things on Independence Day in the paper, so you can grab it and read a lot more stories. Stay with us, Kwabena. Thank you.
I'll have you many thanks for having me on the show today.
Thank you for hanging. I'll find a wife, but not in Ghana. Okay, well, just before you go, let me link up to Roland. Hello to you, Roland. I kind of miss you here, but you are somewhere.
So we're coming to you live from the HFC headquarters here at Rich in Accra. And we know that we're doing a perspective that is going to give us a preview prior to 2016. But more importantly, we want to have a lot more focus. And we know that nearly 6 decades on, we've not done enough as far as improving the state of our economy, making sure that what was started by the first post-independence government of Dr. Osajefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, would have improved subsequently. Now, we are going to focus on industrialization, and we're going to have the perspective of various people who have had various experiences in various spheres of life. We're going to have Ishmael Yamson, who has been the boss of Unilever, has been served on many boards, served with government boards, etc., who has had a long-standing experience in the industry, and to give us his own perspective about the current state in which we are and how we can improve and get out of the current doldrums in lieu of the current perspective of the way the global economy is. Dr. Rashid Pelpo, who is a Minister of State in charge of private sector and the public-private partnership, will also be in the studio. We'll have a lecturer as well as a director with the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. Now, here, we are grateful to be partnering HFC because they are giving you a different perspective as to what banking should be. And you know, no matter how much you have, it's never enough. You always need more interest on your savings and more free charges on your bank transactions. And what if there was a place where their suite of savings can earn you a lot more interest rates, where ATM transactions as well as other bank charges cost you nothing? Well, at HFC Bank, they do just that. They offer you more interest rates on your savings, and this is even up to about 15%. Zero charges on HFC ATM transactions, and also zero services charges on specific amounts that you tend to withdraw at any other time. And they do anything to put a smile on your face. And so welcome to HFC Bank. Make sure you sign up to the various accounts they have: the Brainy Child account, the Smart Save account, I Do account, the Premium Savers account, the Susu Plus account, 5 Plus. And if you want all that, it comes with a lot more. You find a new family in HFC Bank. You also have a product that suits your needs, and you also have free life insurance. For example, for all the things that we're talking about, if you sign up to the IDU account, for example, you have the perspective of using this very headquarters ground. You can put together your best events here. Maybe you're having a wedding, for example, you can't do that. And so we're very much grateful for HFC Bank. But look out for that very interview sessions, 2 hours of grueling interview sessions and discussions on the perspective of the industry and how we can improve the issues that are confronting the current state of the economy, be it energy, be it the interest rate, be it the debt to GDP ratio, and how also we can make sure we explore new markets as a country. Well, so make sure you join us live here on the grounds of the HFC headquarters, Rich here in the crowd. Now back to studio.
Okay, thank you very much, Roland Walker. We're also asking a very interesting question on our show. What's the best and worst thing that has happened to our dear country, Ghana? And that's people are also commenting on. Bests, first of all, talking a lot with no solution. Worsts, blind and corrupted leaders we have. That's a message that came through on WhatsApp. This one says, good morning, Mama, and happy Independence Day in advance. It's very disheartening how the Independence Day is always celebrated. There are no chronological events to have any impact before, during, and after this magnificent day in our history books. But what we see is pupils are left at the mercy of the hot scorching sun for hours when the big men are busily taking their hot coffees with crispy biscuits, after which they ride in their V8s and come and sit comfortably under a well-ventilated tent. It's from Hukash Muntari in Ketakrachi, writing that and sending me on WhatsApp. This one says, Ghana's problem is with our politicians. They are not honest with Ghanaians. And this message from Emmanuel Agbeletine says, the best thing that ever happened to Ghana is her independence, and the worst thing is its leaders as a result of primitive accumulation, to the effect that they're always doing the citizens a favor. Okay, so they think they're doing the citizens a favor. They would definitely answer for their stewardship. 2 more, and then Benedict. We've got a special exercise training coming up here on the show. I'm all excited about it because I've got some fats here that I need to lose. That's on my heart, and we'll tell you how if you've also got some flesh somewhere that you want to lose. We'll be joined by a good trainer, somebody who knows all about it, and we'll lose some fat. Benedict will gain some weight because that's his problem. No need to celebrate independence. It lost its value 30 years ago. That's another message coming through. This person says the worst thing to have happened to Ghana is the adoption of a so-called multi-party competitive democracy. And before that, oh, what a reflection. I promise on my honor to be faithful and loyal to Ghana, my motherland. It's from Chris from JSK sending the message. Let me make way for Benedict Owusu, and I can also go and change. We'll come back with Benedict, and then we can have some hard training ongoing here on a Friday. Stay with us. It's an exciting AM show on till 10 a.m.